What's going on, guys? Thanks for checking out the Off the Range podcast. We're here today to talk about something that basically blew my mind, and that's probably a bad choice of words, but the assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump. Brandon's here with me. We don't have a guest. We just want to get in here and actually talk about our thoughts on like what happened and I guess the severity of the reason or what we thought about it, I guess. Today's sponsor is FATTAC.com. It's always sponsored by FATTAC.com. You can go there, check it out. They have everything from big guys, holster-wise, belts, everything else, and also U.S. Law Shield. All those stuff is in the links in the description below. You can go check those out. Help support us by supporting the guys that support us. But yeah, so Brandon, do you want to open it up or say anything first, or got anything on your mind about it?
I think it's pretty crazy, but I can't say that I'm surprised that this is happening, or that it has happened, rather.
I never thought I would see something like this. Like, you always hear about, like, the JFK and the all the other ones, the Reagan and that, what's the other guy? Like Martin Luther King and, I mean, of course,
the other guy.
But he wasn't a president. But
I thought you were talking about
well, I was talking about the other
Garfield
Kennedy too.
Was it Garfield and Lincoln? Was it Garfield again?
Oh yeah, I forgot about Lincoln.
And Lincoln.
So I mean, you hear all these things, and you never think, like, in this lifetime, dude, you're never going to see that. Is what you think. But the fact that it actually happened, what day was it? It was the 14th, right? July 14th?
Yeah. No.
2024. A day that will live in infamy. No, first of all, I really don't want to. We had a show lined up to air today with our good friend Tony Merkel. So look out for that show. It'll be coming out here in the next week or two, probably the next week. But because this happened, I thought it would be really – I think it's almost important to document that it happened.
Yeah, for sure.
And whether it happened, and we talk about it on a podcast or YouTube or whatever, I just think it's a good thing to document, what's happening in our lives. And right now, I mean, everybody knows in this day and age, everybody knows about the craziness that's happened ever since 2016, basically.
Yep. That's
it's actually kind of mind-blowing that it's gotten – I never really even looked at politics until 2016 almost. And we didn't start a YouTube channel until, like, 2017.
Yeah. I mean, I've always kind of been into politics as far as – like, pretty much since 9/11 happened. I think that's whenever I started paying attention, but it was more of like the conspiracy theory type stuff.
Yeah.
And I was more on the left than – back then I was on the left back then.
You're a change man.
Yeah. Well, kind of. I feel like I don't know. I feel like what a Republican was in the year 2000 is different from what a Republican is now, in my mind. Because or maybe I just didn't pay attention to what Republicans believed in.
Maybe.
But actually, back then, my parents were big Bush. Big
bushes. They had big bushes.
They were big Bush people.
That happened back in the 70s too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm.
But the thing is that I guess I started looking at it sometime around 9/11 too, because that's when we grew up, and I was probably, I don't know, how old was I?
I was a freshman.
Sophomore, something like that.
In high school.
What, 14, 15 years old or something?
Somewhere in there.
So that's how old we were when 9/11 happened. That's crazy that it feels like it's that long ago. Doesn't feel like it's that long ago is what I meant to say. It just feels like it was just – it's so funny. You can watch things on YouTube, like the videos that you see of, like, the World Trade Centers and all that stuff when all that stuff happened. And the format that the video's in, it looks so crazy because you can look at, like, old wrestling videos and stuff you used to watch back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And the format for it is so much smaller. It's like a square versus being 16:9 like YouTube is now. But I don't know. I'd say 9/11 is probably where I started looking at it too. Not really. I didn't really care, honestly. I didn't care.
Yeah.
I never really cared until I realized that our rights were basically being trampled on, and I think that really didn't happen. It didn't really hit in my mind until around 2016 when Donald Trump was actually like, the system is rigged and all this other stuff, where everybody was preaching that the system was rigged, and he was like, yeah, it's rigged. I use it that way because it's rigged, and if you want to change it, then change it. And they haven't. So, I mean, it's rigged, and they were saying that it's rigged and that he's a guy that, cheats on his taxes and all sorts of stuff. He's like, of course I do. It's written that way. Like, for him to come out and blatantly say, I do it like this because it's not made, but it's like allowed for it to happen, I guess, like this. And he's like, of course I take advantage of it, just like everybody else does.
Right.
And for him to come out and be that guy, I was like, that guy's telling it straight up from the hip, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, wow.
Yeah. Just like whenever he said about the oil.
Yeah.
I think, was it Saudi Arabia?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's like, hey, we're getting some more oil over here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, at least he's truthful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when Obama was president. That's when, like, I started looking at things. I don't know. Like, I didn't vote. I didn't vote for the first time until, I don't even think I voted in 2016.
I voted in 16. That's the first time I ever voted for president.
I'm trying to remember if I voted.
And I was 18 and
No, I didn't vote in 2016 because there's no way I would have voted for Clinton, and I didn't vote for Trump.
Clinton? Oh, Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary.
I was like, what? Totally forgot she ran. I know I voted in 16 because at that time I was like, man, we are basically going to be down the tube if we don't.
Yeah.
So I did vote in 16, but in 2016, that was only 7 years ago, so less than 10 years ago, I was only like 28, 29 years old.
Right.
So, I mean, I never voted when I was 18. Never once did I vote. I didn't care to vote. That's what I'm saying. Like, I never really cared about it at all.
Yeah.
And because in my mind I was thinking, like, your vote really doesn't matter. Like, if we're in a red state, how many people does that take for you to turn your state completely blue? It's like, it takes a lot. So if you were voting blue in a red state, like, it's nearly impossible. If you're voting red in a blue state, nearly impossible, right? But now look at it. There's a lot of swing states now that are really turning red because of basically the red wave that Trump is, making happen, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. They were talking about New York flipping. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah. That's something you would never see.
Man, it's crazy. Let me ask you a question. Do you talk to a lot of people on the left at all?
Just Dustin.
Okay.
Really?
See, I don't really talk to anybody. Like, me and Jordan used to talk about politics a lot when we would get drunk, but it ended up getting into like a screaming argument fight thing.
That's usually, it happens to be, that's the reason why I don't talk to anybody either.
Well, I didn't know if this was like a popular thing on the left or not, was getting rid of the Electoral College.
I think that's a thing, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing that people were actually like advocating or anything like that. And I was just like, why would you want to get rid of the Electoral College?
Well, it's because they say that because their cities are the big ones that are blue.
Yeah.
And so because they have the popular vote, then they should take away the Electoral College.
So would it go popular vote state to state
Yeah.
or as a whole?
I think as a whole, I think. So because you have the more people, let's say you got a rural area.
So that's
royal?
A
Royal?
royal area?
Rural?
Is that where all the kings live?
Rural, yeah. So you have that kind of area out in, say, Wyoming, where there's way less people, way bigger, area.
Right.
And it's all red but there's fewer people. But it's a bigger state, so it has more, what do they call them, delegates or whatever, seats, whatever they're called. And or is it more people you got, the more delegates you have? I'm not sure how that works actually. I just know that it's the more people is in the bigger cities. And they're mostly blue, so the bigger they are, the more blue they're going to be, and they think that
makes
the
sense.
popular vote would take over the Electoral College because Electoral College. But what it does is it keeps it balanced.
But I feel like all of the states with the big cities are blue anyway.
They are. That's why they
So
say
why would that matter?
They say that popular vote of all those blue people would counteract all the electoral votes.
Oh,
I
I see.
a blue thing. Because most of your big cities are blue anyway.
Right, but what if it switches?
That's the thing. We've never
want-
seen that before.
Right.
Is that going to happen now?
I don't know.
That's the way they're saying that it is. They're saying it's going to happen like that.
So would they still want to get rid of the electoral college?
No.
Oh, that's funny.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Trump has been on a crazy win streak because everybody's tired of the crap, dude. Everybody's tired of just all of the nonsense that's going on.
Yeah. Can we say wokeness?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I guess.
Is that the definition of it? I don't really know what it's called.
I feel like that's where I guess like like they look more at the color of your skin more than your actions.
That's racism.
Yeah, I know that, but it's like opposite of what Martin Luther King said.
Yeah,
he said, look at the heart, not the skin color.
Right. Man, it's so funny because I was raised in little old podunk town, Pikeville, Kentucky, right? And I mean, my grandfather was super racist, so like straight up. And but my mom and my grandmother and my grandfather on the other side really wasn't racist. Just the other one was.
But do you think that racism, quote unquote racism, came from just ignorance?
Yes.
Because there probably wasn't enough black people there to interact with?
Well, I think it's the time that they grew up in.
Or do you think it was actual hatred?
I think it's the time that they grew up in. But then again, you got to look at the heart too. Like that's what matters, right?
Right.
Like that's what determines what you are. So I don't know if it's just a character, if it's the time that you were brought up in, if the area and whatever, because there was people back in the day that were standing with people that were not for segregation. You know what I'm saying? Like there was white people standing with, the black people arm in arm, like marching down the streets. There was white people doing that. Mm-hmm. So there was some white people with sense back then.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I look at it like how people like when I asked if it was, do you think it was race or hatred, or do you think it was just ignorance?
Yeah.
Like,
I would have to say it's ignorance.
Yeah. Like, for example, if white people go to like the North Sentinel Island, where everybody who's tried to go there has been murdered by this tribe.
The tribe, yeah.
Right. Is that racism or is it ignorance?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Like,
if they're killing everybody, it can't be racism, because if a Mexican guy shows up, they're going to kill him. If a white guy shows up, they're going to kill him.
Right. But I don't know who all's been to that island. I only know of like a couple stories of like, like missionaries or somebody going there and getting murdered. And
But my point to that was that I had family members that were racist, right? And like straight up just did not like people of different color. And I was not brought up that way by my mom, my grandmothers, and other grandfather, and the rest of my family. Like, I wasn't brought up that way. It was basically like you don't see color as a person. It's just it's just how it is. And I don't see how somebody could hate somebody. I don't understand. Like, I was actually watching a Martin Luther King documentary because I was looking up stuff on the Trump assassination attempt and all that stuff, and so Martin Luther King popped up, and I was watching a show called 11/22/63, and it was basically a James Franco.
Oh, that's a great show.
Yeah, it lasted for 8 episodes. I don't know why it only lasted for 8. They should have done more.
Well, I guess because it ended because he stopped the assassination.
They could have done more on it, though. But anyway, I was watching that, and
they should keep making more and have him doing like JFK, or not JFK, but the dude we were just talking. Yeah, Martin Luther King.
I think it would be awesome. I
like
think
Malcolm X.
I love time travel stuff, man. Time travel stuff is absolutely one of the funnest things to look at for me.
It's definitely intriguing.
But when I was looking at it, and that lady was like, I can't, use the bathroom in here. I have to walk across the street or whatever. And that hit me really hard. And I was just like, I can't believe that somebody would feel so strongly against somebody because of their skin color that they look at them as a lesser person or look at them as a nasty person or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't believe just because of somebody's pigment of their skin that somebody would look at somebody like that. That just blows my mind.
Yeah, I agree with that, man.
Along with hatred of somebody that's of a different party. Makes no sense whatsoever. Hatred enough to try to kill them. Hatred enough to try to assassinate them because of either the color of their skin, the party that they're against, or whatever. Like, that's insane to me.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm looking at it more of in a conspiratorial way, where I don't necessarily think it was the left. I think it was something inside. Like, I don't know.
So you're on,
but I don't know.
So you're on the side of it's maybe like an inside job or something.
I mean, I'm just looking at like this is the Secret Service and being like, what happened there?
Yeah, maybe we need to fill people in on what happened.
Well, I honestly don't really know exactly. I don't even think the people that are investigating
the
really
account,
know what happened.
Yeah, no. The account of what happened, basically, if you don't know, which you'd be living under a rock, or maybe it's a couple years down the road or whatever you're hearing this, 2024. Trump was out doing a rally in Pennsylvania, and it seemed like a fairly open area and a very common place where somebody would be like sit up, you know, like a Secret Service would be there to protect, like they would be on that roof that guy was on. Apparently, there's videos all around this day and age, man. There's videos, there's phones, there's everything is around everywhere. So these people are like, hey, there's a guy over here, and they're like pointing at this dude. And they're like, he's got a gun, and he's crawling up on the side of this building and laying on the roof, and like army crawling up the roof
During Trump's speech.
Yeah, while he's talking. And I'm
like a good 2 minutes of like these crowd participants yelling at the Secret Service saying, dude, there's a guy right there with a rifle climbing up a building.
Yeah. What are you doing? They do
like,
nothing.
It's crazy.
The fact that they do nothing, it has to
me
put
that
it into your mind.
Yeah,
like,
to me that points at somebody wanted that to happen.
Yeah, for sure. I think so too. I mean, it's very, very convincing for sure. Think about it. The Secret Service is there to put their life in front of his, right? That's their entire job. I think you understand that when you sign up. I think you know that's part of the job. Like, it's a possibility I could take a bullet for a president. Like, that's supposedly like a big deal.
Oh man, I just thought about that. You know, Dan Bongino was in Secret Service for Obama.
Yeah.
Has he came out and said anything? I haven't even paid attention. Has he?
He's done a couple videos.
Should have watched something on that.
He mainly talked about like how they operated and stuff like that and stuff. So
that was a good Trump impression there.
Yeah. But or how did he do that with his fingers? But anyway, so basically this guy, 20-year-old kid, graduated 2 years ago. 20-year-old kid. I don't actually even remember his name, so I'm not gonna say it anyway. But 20-year-old kid hopped up on a roof with an AR. That's another thing we got to get into. Hopped up on a roof with an AR and literally had minutes to lay there, get settled. Apparently, there was a policeman who climbed up the same ladder he did and was like, hey, what are you doing? The kid turned around and
that's right. I heard about that. He pointed the rifle at him.
Ducked down, and then the kid proceeded to turn around, set it up, and take shots at the president, former president. And it was just like, how does that happen? How does that happen? You would think I would think going into like a Coliseum or something like that where you know they have metal detector stuff where you can't carry guns. Like I carry a gun everywhere, right? Or something like that. And you go into these places like you would think like it's very secure. If you're in a place where you have a very high-ranking person like a president, former president, whatever, it's going to be very tightly secured. And the moment that they see something that's anything as a threat, they're just going to take you out instantly. That's my perception of what the Secret Service does. Apparently, that's not the case. See, apparently, it's not.
What I don't understand is people were talking about how the reason why Secret Service didn't take him out, which is a stupid reason because those people have radios.
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
can communicate. Especially that I don't know if that police officer that climbed the ladder to confront the dude or whatever. I don't know if he had a radio to Secret Service, but I'm sure he had. I'm sure there was more security there than just Secret Service.
Yeah, I mean, there's local PD, there's sheriff's departments, all that stuff. Yeah,
and but it seemed like he would have radioed somebody.
Hey, there's a threat.
Right. I mean, I'm sure he probably did. I don't know. Like I said, this is all. Everything's still coming out.
Yeah, this is literally 2 days after this happened.
Yeah. But
it's really hard to armchair quarterback the thing, especially
right.
because we don't really have any security detail experience or anything like that. It's just, to me, it looks like common sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
It's like, but I was listening to, who was I listening to? I can't remember who I was listening to. They were talking about how people were coming out saying that they saw this dude on the roof. Why didn't Secret Service take him out then?
Exactly.
Because you can see, there's a video of like the angle that's pointing like to Donald Trump's left side.
Yes.
And you can see the two Secret Service members on the roof aiming their rifles at this kid that's on the roof.
Yeah, they got their eye in the scope.
Yeah.
Like
and then when the shots fire, that's when they start firing.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people were saying, well, they didn't know. Well, like a lot of people were saying, why didn't they take him out right then when they saw him on the roof? You know, it was weird. He was up there alone. You know, what was he doing up there? And they have, you know, I'm sure they have pretty powerful scopes on their rifles.
I was watching Mike Glover did a video on it. He was doing his breakdown on it, and he said that it looked like the equipment that the counter snipers had was like at least a 308 or a 300 Win Mag or something like that size, and it looked like it was a 25 power optic or maybe even a 40 power optic. So they had a pretty
right, and he was like what 130 yards away.
That's another thing we got to talk about. So, but yeah, I don't see how a lot of people say that if they saw him up there, they could have been wondering, is that one of our guys or whatever, which may be true. But if you have a 40 power magnification,
I don't think so.
You're gonna see.
That's what I'm
dude.
saying. You would see
At
him
130 yards away. You're gonna see the guy, and you see this 20-year-old mullet faced. I gotta bleep that out. But you see this guy, and he like. You know that that's not one of your guys. He's wearing a demolition shirt.
right, and he's got long hair.
Right.
Yeah, a T-shirt, and I don't know what kind of rifle he had.
Now,
what kind of rifle did he have?
It was just so they don't know. They haven't said anything yet.
Oh.
But when I heard the rounds and stuff like that, I automatically thought 223, 5.56.
Yeah, because they said AR-15, didn't they?
Yeah. But you know, it could have been AR-15 with a 308 or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure it was a small caliber. 223, 5.56, something like that. It had to have something with a little bit of speed. Of course, there's other things with speed too, but you got to think 223, 5.56 is probably one of the most common rounds out there. Probably
that's what
I'm going to say is the most common round out there, and they say that it was
in America.
Yeah, it was a rifle that his dad actually bought. I'm sure his dad didn't. I mean, who knows? But I'm pretty sure it was 5.56 is what they said.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People were saying I watched. Dude, you know who Officer Tatum is? Mm-hmm. I love that dude, man. I watch his show all the time. Every video he puts up, I like it. Like I think he's very entertaining and stuff like that. He's a former police department, apparently a former SWAT team, and all sorts of stuff, right? He was going on about how he was like, you know, most of these guys up there, he's like, you got to have training to hit stuff that's 150 yards away and all sorts of stuff. And I'm just like, no, you don't.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You literally just throw a red dot, Holson red dot optic on top of an AR-15. Have somebody zero it in that's halfway good at it.
Yeah.
And you point the dot where you want it to go, and it's going to hit whatever you're at.
Right.
Like honestly, it's not that hard.
I don't know.
He was talking like it was so hard.
Well,
he was like, "Oh, you're at 150 yards away. You're seeing something that's this big," and I'm like, "No, you're not."
Yeah, that's like when everybody was talking about Lee Harvey Oswald making that shot. Like, what's that dude's name? That former wrestler. The dude that's, I think he's the governor of Michigan.
Governor of Michigan? Justin Body?
Yeah. Isn't he the governor of Michigan or something?
It was one of the, I don't know who it was, but it wasn't that state, I don't think. But anyway.
Okay. Anyway. He may not even be governor. He may be mayor or something. I don't know.
I think he was governor, but it doesn't matter.
Oh. Anywhoosky. What were we talking about? Oh, Lee Harvey Oswald. Yeah. He was talking about how he couldn't make that shot. Have you ever been to Dallas?
I have not.
Right
I've
there?
been to Dallas, but I've never been there.
Dude, it's not even that far of a shot. It's like from here to down there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. People are talking like, and it may be people that just don't have a whole lot of experience with firearms. I don't know. We shoot them a lot. Maybe that's the reason why it doesn't seem like a big deal to us. You could literally take iron sights. I'm pretty sure the qualification for every single military, like Army, whatever, their qualifications is you being able to hit a target at 100 yards within like a pie plate or something like that. Like that, it's something stupid. I never qualified for that, but I'm pretty sure that is about the qualification of what I've heard Josh say and Josh Hall say.
I'm trying to remember how long that shot was when we went to that CMMG event. Oh, you were there too. Well, you went the next year.
Yeah.
There was a competition they had where I'm pretty sure it was a 308. And I can't remember the distance. Did they have that?
The longest one was 300 yards.
300?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, that's a lot farther than this dude was.
Yeah.
But they had like a little Fox set up.
That's literally double than that.
Did they have that at CMMG when they had that little Fox set up and they had a shaving cream can in between this in like a hole? I think it was like a 4-inch hole.
They had Caldwell flash bangs on them. They had them still, so if you hit them, it went off.
They had shaving cream when I was there. But but nobody could hit it.
Really?
But it was like 300 yards.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that far.
Yeah, their longest yard is 300 yards. But the point is that you can hit 100 yards with iron sights.
Yeah.
Easy.
With a Glock.
I'm not kidding. Me and Josh have done that at Windrock Shooting Range. I've shot 100 yards. Actually, it was 125 yards with a Glock 26, and that's at like a 2.5-inch barrel.
Yeah, and a very small handle.
It ain't hard to do.
Or grip.
You don't have to have training. As long as you have somebody that zeroes it good enough, you're good to go.
Yeah, Johnny was telling me about that shot that he made with his what does he carry? 320, right?
320.
Yeah. And he hit that shot. First try, he just pulled it out, boom, and hit a target that was like 150 yards or something like that. Yeah, I was like, and he didn't even shoot that much.
No, he's not even really like a shooter. I mean, we shoot because we do videos on him. Like that's the only reason why we shoot. But honestly, that's not the only reason why we shoot. But you know what I'm saying. We have to. You know what I'm saying. The point is that he was talking about how hard it was and how hard it would be for a shot. So this guy had to have training, and he had to get some. Oh, and this is the other thing. He was like, he's got to have some pretty good equipment. All these people he's like, you think you can just bang around your ARs and, throw them in the back of your truck and all this stuff, and it ain't going to keep zero. And also, he's like, if you have, whatever you got to have, you got to take care of it and all this stuff. And I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about. I literally throw around all my stuff.
Yeah.
I treat it like a tool, like it is.
I mean, if you have good stuff, then you ain't going to lose zero.
No, that's that. And people are making it out to be like it's, and that's my point of this, is that he's only 138 yards away. For the fact that the Secret Service didn't see this guy at 130 yards away, 138, I think is what it is mind-blowing to me. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. That's not far. That's my point. And it wouldn't be hard for somebody to take a shot at 130. When I think of an assassination, what's up?
It's at 28 minutes.
Okay. When I think of an assassination, I think of like Shooter.
The movie?
Shooter? Yeah. And that dude shot from a mile away.
Yeah.
What's your favorite assassination movie?
That's a hard one. I don't know. I like Shooter. I think it's a great movie.
I guess assassination movie would be different. I guess I should say, what's your favorite
Shooter movie?
Shooter movie, I guess. I mean, everybody's going to say John Wick.
Oh, I was still thinking assassination movie.
I think Shooter's a great movie, man.
I think Shooter's a great movie.
Shooter's a really good movie.
I'm trying to think, are there really any?
It made me want to call my son Shooter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Or no, Swagger.
Oh, Swagger.
And Heather was like, we're not doing that. And I was like, what? Come on, that's an awesome name. And she was like, no, we're not doing that. And then I think Swagger came out from Old Spice, that soap too.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually I was just like, okay, yeah, we probably don't need to call him that.
Swagger sounds like the name of a dog.
It's cool, though. I think it's a cool name. Bob Lee Swagger.
Was that the dude's name in Shooter?
Plus, it's Mark Wahlberg. I mean, he's just a cool guy anyway.
He makes some good movies, man. Like, I like Lone Survivor. I thought it was a good movie.
Great movie.
What's that movie about the Boston Marathon bombing?
Can't remember the name of it, but yeah.
Patriot?
Yeah, Patriot, yeah.
No, Patriot Day.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah.
I think he's doing like Pain and Gain. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Pretty much everyone he does is really good.
Ted.
Ted. Yeah. But the fact that they were so close to him and didn't see him, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah, like I said, man, I don't know. I'm not listening to podcasts this week because I'm on vacation, but I'm sure I'm probably gonna watch some later.
Yeah,
because I'll watch a lot of conspiracy theory podcasts.
When the officer tased him, when he was talking about how hard it was and how hard it was, so he had to have some training, and how difficult it was, so you had to have good equipment and all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, dude, he has to be just making stuff up. There's no way, because
I didn't hear him talk about that, but I did watch a little bit of what he was talking about.
What he did talk about that I actually really agreed with was there's a video of him explaining the draw out of the
that's the one I watched.
Now that was really good, and that made a lot of sense to me. Where he was talking about where they placed Trump at, where the snipers were, or the counter snipers were, where the shooter was, and how there was like an open field and there was pretty much nothing except for like trees on both sides. Yeah. And I was like, I get why they were on the top. There was also another spot over there behind the building where the shooter was. It was a water tower. I think it would have been beneficial for them to have somebody on that water tower so they could see over everything. But that building where the shooter was, that would have been a perfect place for Secret Service to watch everything else. So I don't know why they didn't have. Apparently that was outside of their perimeter. So you only have a perimeter of 150 yards when you have a president speaking?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You let everybody know. It's outside of our perimeter. 150 yards? You could throw something at him from that distance. I mean, seriously. And then not to mention, when the shooter tried to hit Donald Trump, this is what happened. We never finished explaining what happened. When he tried to assassinate Donald Trump, it just so happened to graze his ear because he just so happened to turn his head while he was talking. Yeah. And that is only by the grace of God that happened. Yeah. Now, we know that, God has a plan for everything, and God knows what's going to happen, and everything happens for a reason because it's his plan and all this sort of stuff. It's crazy to think that just a millimeter of him not turning his head one way or the other, and it would have caught him in the eyeball, it would have caught him in the back of the head, and we would have had another JFK situation on live TV again in 2024 in HD or in 4K. Like that. That's insane, man.
Did it happen live, or was there a delay?
With what?
I didn't watch it live.
Yeah, it happened live.
I was playing cornhole.
Yep, it was live.
Huh.
But to imagine that could be one of the outcomes is crazy.
Gun-free zones, man. I tell you.
Yeah. I mean, also you got to. I think about this too. Like, let's say I was there, and I was outside of the perimeter of the security places or whatever. I'd probably be carrying a pistol, right? I would carry a pistol everywhere, except for maybe there, because you're thinking like Secret Service will probably shoot me if they find out that I have a pistol on me, right? That's what I would be thinking anyway. But let's say I was carrying a pistol, because I probably would be, and I was out, and I wasn't in their zone. Like, I didn't go through the gates. I didn't go there to see him speak. I was like, because that's what those people saw. When those people were yelling, hey, he's got a gun, whatever, they were outside of that perimeter area. They weren't in. They didn't, like, get checked in or anything like that. They were outside of it. That's what I don't understand. Oh. You would think their perimeter would be bigger, is my point.
Yeah, you think it would be. But I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they weren't there inside the thing to watch him speak. They were there to watch him speak, but they didn't go inside of it. So they were out on the outside. So was that guy.
Okay, put yourself in one of those people's shoes that was yelling, hey, that dude's got a gun.
Yeah.
And all that jazz. Would you have tried to stop that guy?
See, I don't know, man.
Or would have you just been yelling like they were?
I definitely would have been yelling.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I don't know. Maybe. I'm gonna put it out as maybe, because
there's video
on what
footage.
he was wearing. And from what I could tell, this dude was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt
Yeah.
and khaki shorts.
That's what I
That guy's
saw.
not a Secret Service guy.
Right.
So to me,
And he looked like a child
douchebag
with a scruffy beard and
a mullet.
yeah.
So to me, I might have shot him. I would at least maybe if I
I guess
Dude, I don't know.
hindsight.
That's such a hard.
Hindsight being 2020. You know, you're definitely like, yeah, man, I would took him out.
Yeah.
You know?
I would definitely be urging the sheriff's department to do something about it.
Right.
But then again, you think about like you running up in the zone of, let's say, whatever their zone is, that you break the barrier, and you're like, gun, 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 or whatever. You know, of course they're going to pick up on that.
Yeah.
What's stopping them from shooting you?
See, that's what I don't understand. That's why like I said, more stuff's coming out about this every day, I feel like. And I don't know. It's just, I just don't understand how it happened.
I don't understand how they still let him speak with there being somebody in the area that somebody was saying there's a gun over here.
Well, apparently this happened in like 2 minutes.
But even if that cop, though, like you said, he got up there and looked at him and was like, hey.
But I don't know when that happened.
Right before it. Literally right before it.
I know there's video footage from...
Enough time for him to turn around, get set back up, and put shots on target.
Yeah.
So, a couple seconds, half a minute maybe.
Yeah, I'd say at least 10, 15 seconds.
So, the fact that he didn't grab on his radio and be like, there's a threat, or I would think there's a code word, right?
Yeah.
They have code words for everything.
Fumblerooski. But like...
Fumblerooski.
But like, I don't understand... Like,
that's what those girls were doing.
Huh?
Those girls, the Secret Service agents, they were fumbling around everything.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's retarded. But, so, like, there's video footage, like I said, of the two gunmen sitting on the counter snipers or whatever. And there's the speech is going on. Like that video that I watched was at least 15 seconds long.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there looking down the barrel. And I know they're looking at the dude.
Yeah.
On the roof.
Yeah.
Like 120
that one guy that was
yards
saying
away
he
or
was
whatever.
yelling at him, he said that he could tell the Secret Service on the barn was looking at him, but they weren't doing anything about it. And what he was thinking is that the area where he was sitting at had like a little tilt to it, so he thinks that he was like just up on the ridge, and they just couldn't get a clear shot is what they were thinking.
But they took him out anyway, though.
I know. I don't know.
See, man, there's
but
so many questions with no
answers. You did
answers.
also see the thing where the guy came out where we don't know if it's fake or not.
Yeah, we don't know if it's real or not.
I mean, should we even say that if we don't know if it's real?
It's all over the internet, so.
Yeah, okay, so we should say it. Anyway, there's a guy who put up a picture of himself, and he's
apparently the sniper that shot the guy.
And he's saying, I had eyes on the guy for 3 minutes.
Yeah, and they said that
him shuffling around, and the person was like, didn't give me an authorization to take him out.
Apparently like the head of whoever was there of Secret Service told him to stand down or whatever, to not take a shot.
That in itself.
And then whenever he opened fire, he
said he shot anyway.
Executive decision.
He said he's glad he shot anyway. He said he got fired, actually. He said, I got fired.
For shooting?
Yeah. He said, I got fired for what I did, but I would do it again anyway.
See, I didn't read all of the statement that he allegedly put out, but
if that's true,
that's nuts.
And the Secret Service guy stopped him from shooting or taking somebody out when he's a perceived threat. In my opinion, with Secret Service, I've always thought that it's basically shoot first, ask questions later. If you perceive somebody as being a threat, you take them out.
Yeah,
that's what I've always thought their motto is. It's Secret Service, man. You think it's like the biggest.
Yeah, you'd think that
security service in the land.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
They're not taking any. They're not taking any. What's the word? They're not taking any chances. I mean, they're just taking out.
It's their job is to protect.
And they were almost. I saw this on a post. It was like they were almost 1 second and one president too late or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so crazy the fact that he was able to actually get a shot off. Somebody had to want that to happen. Mm-hmm. That's the only explanation.
See, that's why I keep going back to conspiracy theory stuff. Is like like I feel like Donald Trump's been in the crosshairs for like
8 years.
Yeah, for like ever.
Yeah.
Since he announced that he was even running for president in like 2014 or 2015 or whatever.
Yep.
And but then we had like back in April that Benny Thompson dude that was trying to pass that that act or whatever to get Donald Trump removed from Secret Service duty or whatever.
So that's the thing. He was getting tried.
Yeah.
He got convicted. That came out, and he tried to pass that before he got convicted or afterwards.
I think they were trying to put it into the
as something to get voted on or something.
Yeah.
So the guy, what's his name?
Benny Thompson.
Put in whatever the bill is called, whatever.
HR
whatever.
8081.
Yeah.
I think 8088.
It basically states that any president or ex-president or whatever that has a felony charge or something like that, he basically denounces his Secret Service detail, basically. Yeah. And that lets you know right there that, like, what are the reasons that they could do that? What are the reasons that he would want to put that in?
Yeah.
I think there's only
nuts,
one.
Man. It's crazy. And then you got the whole Mar-a-Lago raid thing where they told the FBI that they could use lethal force.
Yep.
Like, it's just all adding up to this right here.
And it's been 8 years of people. I've seen a montage of celebrities doing killing acts.
Yeah.
Of Trump. Like,
pretty much calling for the assassination of Trump.
Exactly.
It's nuts.
It's okay when it's somebody on that side doing it to somebody on the right.
Mm-hmm.
If it was to happen to somebody on the left, they would be knocking down our doors, dude. If anybody, say we run a podcast or a YouTube channel or anything like that, and we were calling for something like that to happen to somebody else on the left or whatever, they would be knocking down our doors.
Yeah.
Look at J6.
Yeah.
They knocked down those people's doors and took them to jail over nothing.
Yep.
Over nothing.
Yeah, like that old man and woman, I think it was an old man and woman that went into the Capitol like 3 hours after everybody had already left.
Probably just taking pictures of stuff.
Yeah, and they charged them. I was like, that's nuts.
Yep.
Like they were just there. They
spectators.
Didn't even, they weren't even there during the Trump speech. They weren't there during anything. And then people got in trouble for being in different states that happened to say something on Twitter.
Really?
Or X. Or it was Twitter.
Whatever it was then.
I think it was Twitter then. But yeah, sorry for dead naming. But you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's no, I don't know.
You really have to kind of be careful on what you say on YouTube too.
Yeah.
We're not calling for any kind of violence toward anybody or anything. So go ahead and say that right now. But it's crazy to think that it's just such a hypocritical thing. It's just such a double standard.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't understand it.
And it's like people on the right just take it. They just take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got double standards, so what? Yeah, they're going to put us in jail, so what? It's crazy that they just let it go. And it's all the time. All the time. But the fact that this was able to happen blew my mind. And we were we rented a boat and we were on the lake and stuff like that. And by the time we got back in and put the boat in or whatever and got in the car, one of the persons riding with us was like, "Oh my God, President Trump got assassinated." And I was like, "What?" I just picked up my phone and like started searching right away and found a bunch of videos on it and stuff. And I was like, I almost was like speechless. I could not believe it happened.
Yeah, whenever we were having a party at my house, a little cookout, and somebody brought it up. They were like, "Man, Trump almost got assassinated." And I was like, "What? That can't be real."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, there's video footage."
I was like, "There's no way that's real."
Showed me the video footage. I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Yeah.
That just happened.
Crazy freaking times. I wanted to get on here and throw our 2 cents in on what's happening.
Yeah. And
whether you think it's entertaining or not, I think it was a good idea to get on here and document what's happening, especially in our world today.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll keep talking about this because this was a pretty big thing on on next podcasts and whatnot. And
I know we talked about it with Tony. Like I said, Tony was actually supposed to be the
next episode,
but we pushed it back because we wanted to throw this one out there. There's going to be times, guys, when we do podcasts by ourselves, we're talking about certain topics we want to talk about or whatever, something we want to bring up or whatnot. And honestly, if we use our guest spots now, we're not going to have any. So we want to give you all some time, but we are doing guests. I think the next couple of guests that we're going to have on will be Pat RMG. He's a YouTuber. If you know who he is or not, you can go look him up. Pat RMG on YouTube, Instagram, and all that stuff. He's the lever action king, okay? If you like lever actions and wheel guns, he's the guy to look at. Pat RMG, we're going to have Guns and Gadgets. We're going to have Johnny B, and there's another one that's Steve, Mr. Big Kid. We're going to have all those guys on here relatively soon. And so if you want to leave them a voicemail that we can ask them a question that you want to talk to those guys and say who you want it to be for when you leave the voicemail, because that would be the best thing, because you ask me a question about somebody and I don't know who it's for, I don't know who to ask the question to. So Guns and Gadgets, Johnny B, Pat RMG, and Steve, Mr. Big Kid. I don't know why I say his name first. I guess I know him on a first name basis. Mr. Big Kid. If you want to ask any of those guys questions, holler at us in our voicemail. It's 615-567-3331. Leave a voicemail, and we'll get it to him. What's that number again?
1-615-567-3331.
Yeah, if you hear it 3 times, you'll remember it. 615-567-3331. Go leave us a voicemail. Go check out our sponsors, FATTAC, FATTAC.com. They have everything for big guys. It's in their name, guys. FATTAC. And also U.S. Law Shield. U.S. Law Shield is by far one of the most important sponsors I've had in a long time, because they actually save me a lot of money. They'll save you money, too, because they do an unlimited amount of civil and criminal court. I mean, it's for like $10.95 a month. You really can't beat that. If you're carrying a gun, you need to have something like that in your back pocket, and that's basically having lawyers in your back pocket. So links in the description below, or you can use promo code BDGG. You got anything else you want to address or talk about?
Yeah. If you guys want to or know of anybody that you want to see on the podcast that's we could try to get on, leave it in the comments section or something. We'll see what we can do.
And we can do these online, too. It doesn't have to be in person. I would rather it be in person. I know the guys that we are talking to right now are going to be in person because they live fairly close to us. But we can do it online, too. I don't want to, but we will. So anybody you can think of, throw them in the comments. We will get a hold of them so we can make it happen. That's all I got for you guys. Like I said, go check out sponsors, FATTAC, U.S. Law Shield. Anything else?
I think that's it.
God bless Donald Trump, USA, and keep America great.
Amen, brother.
See y'all in the next one.